Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, my name is Mark. I am finishing up my DMA at the University of Missouri Kansas City Conservatory. I'm super happy to be here. It's nice to see all of you. Let's start at the beginning of Movement 1, Lincoln Chair Posing. Beautiful. Hey, great.
So do you remember how we were talking earlier in the day about the concept of influencing and monitoring?
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, you're an influencer, right? Was that a fair statement?
Yes, yes, sir.
I'm telling you, it is. Okay, so like if it's like monitoring and influencing, I mean you're over here. Okay, can we just do this one more time? And can you monitor instead of influence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's great, by the way. Okay.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm playing.
experiment. Okay.
Yeah, they're playing well. From the beginning. Yes.
So how was that different for you that time as opposed to the first time?
I was definitely less active, less busy. It engaged my ears more, and I was more inviting for the players too, because I'm more looking up at me, and we were able to communicate more. The specific things I wanted, like that last since I saved more emotion, they were able to give me that second crescendo.
So for me, I mean, I agree. I was hoping that you would say it opened up your ears, okay? Because that was kind of the point of that. But the second part is the stuff that you really want to happen now, it doesn't get lost.
Right.
In the, I mean, like everything you do is great, okay? But now it means more because it's not like every other gesture that we've seen before.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So that would be my challenge to you going forward is, you know, You don't have to do everything for them, you know? Now, it might be a different, again, the ensemble's going to dictate what you have to do, but they don't need, you know, maybe as much as the group this morning needed. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then the other thing, I noticed that this morning you weren't using a baton, and now you are. Okay. So is that a conscious decision on your part, or
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how would this have been differently if you didn't use the baton? I'm not saying you shouldn't, but
If we're going back to the first repetition that I did, I probably would have been doing even more because I would have had this hand to, like, I don't know, to play with and
right.
tinkle.
So it's probably a good thing. Then okay.
I
Cool.
just wanted. I noticed a lot of comments were aimed towards the baton, so I wanted to, I guess, just in case there were weird things that I was doing.
No, I mean, I think he's going to maybe ask you something about the size of your pattern towards the last transition. Did you want to go and jump in on that?
Yeah, it's also too, Mark, this is a pleasure to watch you do this. Can you give me your basic setup? This is going to sound really, really fundamental. I don't mean it to be. May I touch you?
Of course.
Is that okay? I'd love to see this flatten out here. So this is more flat.
Okay.
That way you have the ability to move here or paint the wall this way.
Yes, sir.
When your wrist goes up here and you turn this down,
Mhm.
your wrist can't go very far.
Okay.
Right? So this is a physical thing. So our default place needs to be flatter. That way we have full range of motion here. Does
Yes,
that make
sir.
sense?
Yes, sir.
But when you start up this way and you crank it down,
Yeah, I do that.
you know, this is a common thing. Caleb does this wherever Caleb is. Yeah, I harp on Caleb about this constantly. Right? He starts with it too far up here. I'm like, brother, you can't move. Like you have nowhere to go. You know, so you've got to start with this flatter. This has got to be our default setup.
Yes, sir.
No matter what the grip is, what you do. Like if you do this, like suddenly it's cranked up. This is special, but it's not. It can't be the default.
Right.
You know, that's my biggest thing on that. Then at the end, remember this morning, I remember who I was talking to, but like when you want to get faster, you get smaller. When you want to slow down, you get bigger. You didn't change the size at the end, and the low brass couldn't follow.
Right. Yeah. I noticed.
Can
that.
we do that last phrase?
Yes, sir.
I also talked to them about that D natural, so maybe they'll play that in tune.
Where would that be?
Devin's like, don't throw me under
This would be measure 64.
Why don't you start it?
Measure 50.
Let's start at 50. Let's go 50 to the end. I mean, it don't take that long. See, look at your wrist right now. You see that?
Yeah.
I would just encourage you to flatten it out because that way you have full range of motion here. Because the baton, I was going to wait to do this in the second move with you. The baton should be like a string bow. You know, when string players play, it's here, right? So they have full range of motion. They never play like this. They never do quirky things with the grip because then that changes how they can play, right?
Right.
And you know, you've watched great string players.
Right.
You know, so like this range of motion here, don't copy me on this. This is terrible bowing. But don't tell Celts, okay? Like, you know, anyway. But this, they would never do something weird with. But yet we do weird things with our grip. You know, but the baton should be like a string bow.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. Can I tell you something? The last release, I would be here.
Okay. Yeah. I kept. But we didn't change notes the last time, did we?
Yeah, I messed up.
Okay. I was like, we must not be in that part then. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. When we didn't make eye contact and we moved together the last time, I was like, we must not be you then.
No,
All
it
right.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'd be more over here. That last, I know the clarinets do too, but I would definitely be English horn.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
See if you can bring that out. It's a softer da da da, a louder da da da, body da push push, and booby. Get overconduct each one.
Yes, sir.
Right? So it sounds like you're pouring water on the floor. That's what those cadence points should feel like. We're just, right? You know
Yes,
what I'm saying? Let's try again. Let's go 50.
Same place.
I will tell you, you started out flat, and as you went, you reverted back with your wrist getting tilted upward.
Okay. Okay.
That's a long change, but
This is measure 50.
right, now I've seen that release like 4 or 5 times. You have to do something different.
Okay.
I mean, you've done the same artsy release each time. Can you have another way to do the last note?
I have many ways. Yeah.
Okay, do it. Show me 5 more.
Yeah.
Do the last note. I want 5 different releases.
Okay. All right.
Just
And
the left-
is it this left hand that you're thinking about, or the
Okay.
right hand?
I don't know.
Okay, I got it. Got it.
Here we go. Last note. 5 different ways.
So it's Dom, and then the resolution.
Just boom.
All
Last
right.
note.
Last note. All right.
That was hard. Sneaky. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea where to release sound with any of those.
I want it that way. I want it to. I want the release to be very, very
Time
long.
out. Time out, just so we don't go any further with this. What are your thoughts? Do you want to see where the release is, or do you want to guess? They want to see it. So you can be really artsy about it, but at some point, you've got to do what's helpful for the players.
Okay. Could we play this note so long and like whenever you stop playing, when you run out of breath, that's when you can end. And then I will show when the last movement of my baton is when the last voice should end. Last note.
Are you okay with that?
I mean, we would have more like reps because there's someone that entered after they released, and then like there was a tuba that was like, I'm going to be the last voice because that's what we do. But you know, we'll just work out the nuances. But there's just a beauty in like just everything fading out to nothing, and I'm still working on like how
So
to.
that's a subjective possibility, what we just talked about. But objective ensemble pedagogy tells you that can't work.
Okay,
I mean, it doesn't work. The bassoon held on last, it was out of tune, and somebody squeaked.
I'm just bad at it, but I've seen people do it beautifully, and I'm practicing to get better.
Well, in this instance, you have to do what's good for them.
Okay.
You just, I mean, you have to do it with the players. I mean, right now you have conservatory players. These folks, some of them will be going to conservatories. Like some of them are going to go be the teachers that change the world. Some of them are going to go play at conservatories, right? But you have to do what works for them. I think that's the number one thing.
Okay.
You've got to match. Because if you just do this, that works great if you're a clarinet player, right? Clarinets, do the last note. Here we go, and go. Tubas, last note.
Gorgeous.
Why are you going sharp? Right? It doesn't work for them.
Okay.
So, but that's what we just talked about. That's objective pedagogy. They can't do that. The other part of it, I think, and then we have to stop. When you release sound, breathe in. This is the opposite of anything everybody ever teaches in conducting pedagogy. Breathe in when you release. Watch, here's the last note. I'm going to make this super clear, like overly clear. Last note, and. Do you see me breathe in on
I
the
see you
release?
breathe in.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is another Craig Kirchhoffism. He breathes in on when he did that at our workshop a couple years ago. I don't know if any of you guys were here when he did that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great way to release sound because you're literally lifting the sound out. You know what I mean? So you've got to find a way to meld what you want to hear with what the instruments are actually capable of doing. That's my point.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey, thank you.
Cool. All right, who's up next?